As a very brief last video, I'd like to show you how to take the hard work that we put into the in cell and out cell tabs and combine them into checks to see whether or not an in cell is forced for the cells in our Numbrix puzzle appearing in sheet 1. So instead of entering those from scratch, I'd just like to go to my enforced tab and show you what that formula looks like. So if we go into this interior, we have a tab in our document that is called all but one. And what that is doing is checking if we are in that first criteria of our slide, saying, is it true that all but one of my adjacent cells is filled in? So that's the first thing that we need to be true. And we also need it to be true that the in cell is unknown if we are going to be in a situation where that one adjacent cell is forced to be the in cell. So we're checking for both criteria. So all we're doing to fill in this spot right here is using Excel's and command and then making references to these two other sheets that we've built. Go to the all but one tab and check what's in cell B2. If that happens to be true, and it's the case that when I go to the in cell sheet and check what's in cell B2, if that in cell is equal to the L1, which is what we put into that cell if we didn't know what the in cell was, so it was pointing out at the cell that was outside of the puzzle. If both of those things are true, then we are in this situation where for this particular cell, in this example B2, that the one remaining adjacent cell that would be open would be forced to be the in cell. And so this is something that we would be interested in checking for our original sheet. So your task is going to be to complete the out forced tab in your homework, but then I'd also want to show you in our original puzzle how to highlight cells that are of importance to us so that we understand these rules. So what I'm going to do is I am going to select all of these cells that are in my puzzle, and I'm going to go over to conditional formatting, and I want to look at highlight cell rules. I want to highlight cells that have particular rules, and Excel provides a lot of common things that you might want to highlight, like is the value greater than this or less than this? Is it text that contains something specific? But it also has an option for more rules. And we want to come up with our own custom rule, which is a thing you can do. We can format cells based on their value, if they contain something, but we want to use one of our own formulas to determine which cells to format. So we'll click this option, and then we'll come down here and say, what is the rule for formatting the cell? Now notice when I highlighted the selection that this one original cell that I clicked on is in white, but the remaining cells are gray. So when we enter the formula in right here for what we want to be true, we're entering it in relative to this one unique white cell. So that can be really helpful. And what we're checking is, we're checking if an OR statement is true. So instead of using that AND statement, we want an OR section. And we're trying to check if the in cell of this cell is forced or if the out cell of this cell is forced. So let's type in OR enforced, go to that sheet. Our highlighted cell is I9, so let's check the I9 of enforced. Let's check the I9 of outforced. And if either one of those things is true, we want to highlight the cell. Now what we have to do is click on what the formatting will look like. And here we'd like the fill of the cell to be green. We go ahead and click OK there. And now finally we click OK, and it highlights our cells green that we care about. And notice that as I go through and add things to this cell, now things are becoming highlighted as things are changing. And so this formatting, having been applied to the whole puzzle, will make it so that even as we progress and fill in numbers, new cells get highlighted as soon as the rule is applied to them.